I would call myself one of the lucky ones when it comes to how we learn to tithe. My parents shared in the plate each Sunday a portion of their income. As I got married, I continued this practice with my wife and my children. We would be involved with local repairs on our church with our time or our talents. We may be involved with a local family that didn't meet ends meet this month. We may be involved with different projects in our community with our local tithing dollars. My whole family realized that tithing is fun. We enjoyed sharing a portion of our income to help make our local community better. And as I grew in my relationship with the community of Christ, I continued to hear this idea of sharing equally. And frankly, it made me nervous. Could I share my tithing dollars equally with World Church and know that they would spend as wisely and as thrifty as I was in my local community? A few years ago, our apostle Rick Maupin invited me to share in a mission trip to the Big Bridge region of Egypt Garden, Jamaica. When I heard this invitation, you can imagine I was excited. A Caribbean island with great pristine beaches and a mission project. I arrived in Jamaica about 4 or 5 hours before Apostle Maupin and his team of carpenters. I took in the views, I enjoyed a nice supper, then I met with the church leaders at the airport and we all joined in a 12-passenger van and headed off to the airport. Well, let me let you know, that was the last view of that pristine beach that I had seen for the whole trip. We were working in the part of Jamaica that you don't see on commercials, that you don't hear about. Very poor community called Big Bridge, Jamaica, the Egypt Garden congregation of Community of Christ. And the Community of Christ Church was building what would not just be another church, but would be the biggest, most important building project of this community in all history. The people came by, peering their heads into the cased openings of the windows and in the doorways, totally amazed at what was going on, that this would become the Community of Christ. The children sat on stacks of lumber and stacks of plywood. The pastor even slept on the plywood to make sure that it was protected for the next day, for all of the carpenters to be able to begin working immediately. There were people in the community, one in particular in her mid-90s, Rhoda Riley, shared with me that she had been praying, I want to see this building completed. I want to attend church in the Community of Christ building here in Big Bridge before I die. I will let you know today that because of your dollars, Miss Riley did see the completion of the building and continues to share in her worship at the Big Bridge Community of Christ. This building became a center for community events, for church events, for the whole neighborhood joined around the Community of Christ in Big Bridge. As I headed back to the airport, one of the church officials was driving me and I asked him, I said, what else do we need to complete the project at Big Bridge? He listed metal, maybe some windows, maybe some paint work. And in a moment, it all clicked. Finishing the project in Big Bridge was just as local to me as a project within my own zip code. I was part of the Community of Christ. My dollars were helping so much more than local projects, than projects in the United States. They were building the Community of Christ worldwide. The world became so small to me in that moment. The Community of Christ became even smaller. When I came home, I realized I can share equally. I can know that my world tithing dollars are being spent so efficiently and so wisely in prolonging the mission of the church. So I would ask you to review your mission initiatives. Is your passion inviting people to Christ? Is it developing disciples to serve? Is it abolishing poverty, ending suffering? What is your passion? And I would ask, as you consider your tithing dollars, to be generous disciples, sharing the most generously that we possibly can, as we continue our mission and Christ's mission in all places of the earth.